what's the way that you put it? That you're Salvador Dali and I'm.
He just said that, Ryan.
Yeah, we're cutting him out of it.
Oh,
We're
I
cutting him
saw
out of
that's
it.
right. I forgot. I was like, give the guy a shot.
Wait a
What are you
minute.
going to tell him next? That we're like Paul McCartney and Lou Reed? I got this thing. I can tell when someone's lying. It's kind of a thing I do. So, who are you?
I am Felicity Price.
Nope. Try again.
I am.
Ryan wrote this great line in the pilot. Would you say it for me, Paul?
Sure, Ringo.
Thank you. I was waiting for that. I knew it was coming. I could read your mind.
It's good feeling. We're both going to the same place. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
We didn't have the balls.
We didn't have the balls for it. It's that everyone is constantly lying. It's like birds tweeting, and so the trick is to figure out why people are lying, what their aim is in doing it. I think she doesn't get cynical from knowing that people are lying. That to me is like one of the keys in it, I think.
Yes, that's where I go full method acting. As a passenger seat on this here journey of a life, I think that's something that I've had to assimilate too, is to allow people, their kind of small lies, just because you got streetwise early or something. So you can kind of see the truth about but often it's because you're, hiding some sort of underlying suffering or something. And that's why when you say, how are you? They say, oh, just peachy. People don't say that as much as they used to. But, often that means going through a divorce, sound the alarm. And we've just been taught that. But I think there is an empath in me that can see they're saying in a ton of pain. And you kind of say, oh, just peachy. Okay, let's look over here for a moment. So yeah, it doesn't change my worldview or Charlie's. It's more about what a great way to sort of look out for the little guy, or spot that injustice where relevant and kind of crack that code.
Developing the character of Charlie Cale has been a real collaborative process. I feel like especially in the first season when we were starting out, because I wrote it obviously beyond even with Natasha in mind for it. I wrote it after having a conversation with Natasha about should we do this thing together, and so she's at the heart of this character. At the same time, I think it took a beat for both of us to kind of tune into what was working about the character and to find the essential thing about her, which is that she likes people. Which sounds like a simple thing, but it's kind of the essence of, I think, what makes the character tick. And I remember for both of us, that was almost kind of a revelation we both came to, I think, early on in the first season. You never stop rediscovering the character episode to episode because she's having to kind of deal with new stuff every episode. So, but I feel like that it's a constant collaboration, I think.
It was a collaboration also in the sense of sort of like figuring out the music of the thing in a way, because the pilot is, of course, like a real inciting event of Charlie's, best friend, Natalie, Dasha Polanco. And it's kind of, that's her hub that she's leaving, where she's a cocktail waitress. She tells Adrian Bodie, I like my life, and that's just fine. It's not the line. What is it, Ryan?
It's basically that.
Okay. But, I don't want to be a card shark. It was really fun in this, the first season, that it was kind of, we would do these little, readings in my house, just like me and Ryan and Noah Segan and Alia Shawkat would show up, and we just did it a few times just to kind of, all this stuff. Even if we'd put it on the page ourselves, it was kind of like, oh right, out loud, does it hit that marker that we talked about at Little Doms of Jeff Bridges, the dude, Big Lebowski, son at the back, kind of a bit more of an optimist. Is it in the pocket? Or sometimes, I guess, as the drafts kind of go through their natural, shooting draft evolution, we'll kind of, be sidebarring along the way to kind of punch up something here or there. Like I remember this season towards the tail end, there was like a line that kind of was a good joke on paper, but it had sort of like slipped through the cracks, and it was a bit nihilistic or sort of like, and it felt sort of like a little bit more, this like kind of edgy cool or something. Then it's something that we could have done, but Ryan and I sort of had a quick, oh right, it's a convenient but not exactly the memo. It doesn't jive. So little and big things. That little demon sabotaged Elijah's magic trick.
I just want someone to like me.
Bullshit.
I think Natasha and I, in terms of our collaboration, we have very different brains that work really well together.
Because you've seen all those famous Hitchcock dollies.
I was just doing the peanut butter and chocolate commercial. That's all I was doing. I know that collaborating with Natasha is a I'm talking about you like you're not here. Because
I'm not.
Pros.
I left
'Cause
the
we're
room
pros.
and the building at least 4 hours ago.
Is a joy, and it feels like we both love puzzles, and we both have that logistic part of our brain that can work out the puzzles, but we both have different strengths in terms of other areas. It feels like it just kind of like clicks.
You know, it occurs to me in this moment, it's a little bit like being locked in, what are those called? A trap room? Escape.
Escape room.
You know, it's, well, I went to one of those with Craig Mazin, our friend. It was really great that he was there. Thank God I wasn't alone in that escape room because, you know, I like to, you know, look at something on the wall and be like, Craig, why would they put this here? This is crazy. Look at all these arrows and they glow in the dark. Craig, we got to get out of here. So I think that I really enjoy that. I think that I even love that so much about Amy Poehler and Leslie Headland. You know, I really like love it. Ozzy Jacobs. I mean, there's something a real fun thing about having a collaborator. I have that with Brett Marling now. Like, you like that somebody's kind of, you know, everybody's looking at different elements in the escape room, but you all are trying to get out.
Trying to get out.
Okay.
We just want to get out.
You just want to get out alive. It's a hard thing. Like, ideas are so fun, but wrangling them and getting them to the finish line is a real, like, all hands on deck operation. And so I'd say we're a little bit more like George Harrison and Paul McCartney. I'd like to think so.
Take it.
Yeah, Lou Reed and somebody else, Andy Warhol maybe, because it's kind of like parts of I don't know. Ryan, once I heard you talk about a peanut butter and chocolate sandwich, I think that was
Something is amiss.
I want to know everything there is to know about you.
Oh, gosh, you don't mean that, but flattered nonetheless. Well, and the other thing about Rian Johnson, not to talk about the director in the room, who's sort of my favorite director on Poker Face, no offense to the rest, including myself, who's also a director on the show, but by miles, Rian, just because it really is our well, baby. I think it's also confusing. Ryan this year was on Knives Out, and you know, so I think I love that we have this kind of tether together, and it's a lot of it is also about understanding that the backstory is like not front story, which is something that I think that we have enough of like a mind meld sort of brain trust around that, you know, it's like Ryan is really holding the whole thing. So it's like, oh, right. We don't want to get bogged down in backstory, not that the absence of it is, you know, an omit or something. Like, so I think that really it's only when the two of us are going full Beatles on the thing, can we have that full spirit of like everything is in its right place in this episode. You know what I mean? And so you're not second guessing in the same way. So it's much more fun to commit. Like there's things that Ryan can make me do, I would never do on camera, no matter who is directing, like in the pilot where I recreate Macaulay Culkin's famous dance from Home Alone with a counter dolly zoom. I would never do that for somebody. I just do it to make Ryan laugh because it's crazy talk. But I actually know that Ryan is going to pull that off just so in a way that won't be egg on my Home Alone face. It'll actually work, and it does. You know, so it's a joy to see that. And I think sometimes even if a visiting director, again, including myself, can sort of even see it on the page, even if I've written it in the room, you know what I mean? I can still be sort of like looking at it, second guessing that choice that it's or that director. You know, if you sort of like ask a question, sometimes they'll say, "Gosh, I don't know why. Let me call Ryan." Or so Ryan will make me do things like you know, like Tamara Jenkins, who's a great director that I've worked with. Ozzy Jacobs. So usually they'll kind of like slow me down, or with Tamara Jenkins on Sons of Beverly Hills. You know, I guess I was in a phase where I'd gone full Corrigan, and you never go full Corrigan, especially not when he's your love interest in the movie. So I think that she was sort of like removing these kind of like layers off me, which is the same as Ozzy Jacobs is kind of like, it's okay to kind of go slow or whatever. And I think that a lot of the other ones sometimes it's a little bit trickier because they're kind of holding this whole puzzle box. You know, I always think of myself as crew on Poker Face because I'm really there with the camera department and the grips week to week, sort of helping everybody to feel like they're locked in, and we're playing it in the key of Ringo and Paul. You're safe. Like, I love to see them win. Like, I love to see, like, Clea get the scene, or, you know what I mean? Ty West, I know that guy knows exactly what he's doing. And they're my friends, that I texted to come do it. Or I know Janixa's, got it. Janixa actually that was an interesting one, because she also kind of would do sort of those big takes, I guess, where she would really sort of pace them her own way. You're always sort of learning.
Yeah, and I think
Still talking. No, just kidding.
In terms of actors who this season who I feel like you can see have the character has a real effect on Charlie. I feel like in their own way, like each one of them that she gets close to has that kind of effect. But I do feel like in One Last Job, I think the romantic relationship we get to see her, we tease and we get to see her have a little bit. I think with Corey, that to me was very interesting, because it was kind of a new flavor to the show. We really haven't had her have a true romantic connection with somebody in the show, and to see her have that and see the effect of the episode. Yeah.
I just had a memory of Escape from Mountain and you and Steve Edlin and being like, we can't shoot yet. The light's not right for like 4 hours on that weird mountain. And then you brought in that lovage.
He was lovely.
He was a lovely young man. He was a lovely young man.
Yeah.
But I don't know that really it was... I do think that Corey Hawkins' character was a little bit better fleshed out.
Well, yeah, that was that was almost like a gag. That was like I don't count that.
But I was like, and so you mean like a
Just
man?
smooching.
Don't get me wrong, of course, I read the things and I'm there for the process, but it was just so funny that I was like, Ryan, is this your type or what's going on here? Because I think, oh, God, that's making me laugh thinking about that. Remember all that kissing?
There's a lot of kissing.
Yeah, what else happens? We go fishing?
Yeah, you go fishing together. Yeah, laughing by the campfire. Good times.
Yeah. I don't think that guy really was a good love interest. I think he was an archetype of an idea of a love story in montage.
I think so.
He was a great montage love interest, I would say.
Perfect.
A great guy, a great actor, but not as was true.